Feeling is the Secret is one of the most profound and timeless works of Neville Goddard. One of the biggest takeaways from this book is that your feelings impress information on your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is a powerful network of neural connections that you can use to transform your life in the direction of your dreams. Think of your mind as this iceberg, and our day-to-day focus is the conscious mind. This is the part of the iceberg that we see above the ocean. It's the home of our logic, critical thinking, short-term memory, and willpower. Most people live in this area of the mind. That's the hustle harder part of the mind, but it's only 10% of the mind's power and capacity. Your subconscious mind is the other 90% of the iceberg beneath the ocean. That's all the muscle memory, all of the unconscious impulse. And today, I'll explain the importance of conditioning your conscious mind so you can unlock this unlimited mental power beneath the surface with full intention. Hey, I'm John Ray with Musing Wizard, and on this channel, we unpack what actually works when it comes to law of attraction, reality transurfing, spiritual alchemy, and the teachings of Neville Goddard. I've been exploring and putting these concepts into practice for over 20 years now, and we get to unpack these as a community and use these techniques together. It's not as visible or obvious, but your subconscious is the foundation and basis of so many of our behaviors and motivations. It houses your beliefs, your habits, your values, your emotions, your intuition, defensive reactions, and it houses our vast imagination. Neville Goddard teaches us to access our subconscious mind through our feelings. You can use feelings to reprogram your mind toward your dream life. Then, the power of that vast neural network will help you make those dreams a reality in your material world. This process will help you rewrite your old beliefs and take on the assumption of your wishes fulfilled. When you live in the assumption, that the assumption that your wish is fulfilled, it plants seeds in your imaginal garden that will blossom into a wonderful, abundant life of your very own creation. In any 24-hour period, we experience a myriad of feelings. Some come and go, while others get etched into stone. The ones that get etched into stone are also often the ones that we don't feel through, that we bypass, that we go out of body around. But regardless, our relationship with what we're feeling or not feeling in the present moment shapes our future in a big way and creates a feedback loop that we experience over and over again. Remember that your dominant feeling is going to beat out anything else in your mind and program your subconscious to create your reality in that way, in alignment with whatever you're consistently feeling or avoiding feeling. Think about your relationship with work and your finances. If your dominant feeling is that work is a rat race, your life will become a rat race. Feelings beget feelings. It's a perpetual self-fulfilling prophecy. So you'll roll out of bed if you feel like, work is a rat race, you're going to roll out of bed with dread and anxiety in the pit of your stomach. You will immediately start, managing and rationing your energy and making deals with yourself. If I can just make it to lunch, if I can just skip the small talk and do my work and get a nap as soon as I get home, your morning shower will become this kind of miserable, dreadful experience, and then you're not even going to want to get out to start your day, and this leads to a stressful commute where you're defensive and angry at other drivers. Your energy is already on life support by the time you step foot into the office. You're already in that red zone, and the day hasn't even started, and it's like that old book, Alexander and the Terrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. Like, as you continue to perpetuate the annoyance of your life, you're going to get more of that. And if you multiply that by day after day, week after week, month after month, and as you see the outcomes, you might, if you have the right nudging, start to see that your dominant assumption has created that miserable life for you because you're just getting more of what you're consistently noticing, thinking, and feeling, or avoiding feeling. But it doesn't have to be that way, because the opposite also works. If you can dwell on feelings of love for your work, or even past acts of service that you enjoyed, feel gratitude that you have, sources of income that others might not have, and play with the idea that life is fluid and things could shift or change for the better at any moment. Just having that belief system, allowing you to build a sense of wonder about your financial prospects and the opportunities that could land in your lap. When you assume these feelings, even if it's just I'm a lucky person, if that's what you're assuming, suddenly your life will start to change, because the feedback loop, the information that you're putting into that loop, is different. And now, instead of hitting the snooze button, you jump out of bed to tackle the day. What kind of confirmation is life going to show me today that I'm moving in the direction of my greatest dreams? Because it's not even always getting the dream that is the most impactful or satisfying part. It's the day-to-day moving inches closer, getting closer to it, seeing the progress, feeling the momentum, rather than rationing energy and just trying to get by. When you're focused on the feeling of what a satisfying life feels like, your days transform into a game of beating your top score of how much you can get done, or, the golden nuggets of information that are being seeded to you from all around reality and presented to you in a way that you can see it. Life is a data stream, and when we're in alignment, when we can find something to appreciate, when we can really get into the feeling of what it's like to have and be living in our biggest desire, we start to see more data points, and we start to connect dots in an interesting way. And that feeling of optimism permeates your days and weeks, attracting more abundance, and it opens your mind and life up to allow you to seek out and find new opportunities. So, I guess what I want you to know is that we all have control over our feelings. If we don't, then that means that we're a slave to them. And we can, with practice, gain that control and become the master of our feelings. It doesn't mean that we're not feeling them. Part of gaining control or being in concert with them is that we'll actually allow them to be there. We're no longer resisting them. And once we're no longer resisting them, we do have more opportunity to direct that energy. And you can direct your feelings to do your bidding. This re-engineers you internally and builds your external world. It's programming the top of the iceberg by working on the bottom of the iceberg, all that stuff that's under the water. And instead of dreading what life gives you and constantly playing defense, when you exercise the law of assumption by assuming the wish fulfilled, you assume that once you tell the universe the amount of money you desire, it's yours. Assume that the dream career you imagine is yours. Assume that your reality overflows with abundance as you go about your daily life. Assume that you're the luckiest person that you know. And most importantly, assume the feeling of those desires already being present in your reality. You're already the person who deserves those things. It's like when you sign a contract on a new home build. The home isn't built yet, but it's yours. And that's where you want to be around all of your desires, where they're yours, and you're just waiting for all the details to deliciously fill themselves in. As Neville Goddard teaches in the book Feeling is the Secret, your outside world always mirrors your inside world. So check in with your feelings and recognize when they're off course from the result that you seek. And if it's off course because when you think about your desire, it feels uncomfortable. So that just means you need to sit through that discomfort until you can comfortably feel yourself having that thing that you want. You want to hone your ability to feel your feelings completely right now and at all times. Because whatever you're feeling now is the thing that is presenting. If it's uncomfortable, that means that you sit with it, you feel it, and you release it back into creative potential. Once you're in coherence and can access that creative potential, then you find the end result that you're looking for, and you find the feeling of that end result in your body. And if you can't find the feeling of that end result, it means that there's more discomfort to feel through. Right now, wherever you're sitting or standing, just take a moment to recognize where your feet are at. Part of doing this work and feeling through the discomfort is grounding yourself. So feel your feet on the ground, in your shoes, or whatever surface they're touching. Breathe deeply into your belly. Are you able to freely inhale and exhale? That's a signal. Or is your breathing shallow, choppy? You want to feel your dominant sensations, the actual sensations in your body. Notice them. Notice how they move to different areas as you observe them. You might be stuck in your head. That might feel like pressure in your head. You want to treat your body as if it's a sponge, and that pressure in your head is water, and slowly just draw that water, draw that energy down into your body. And if you are stuck in your head, to the point that you're thinking thoughts, but you can't easily perceive the sensations, that just means that there's an opportunity to move your attention down into your body. Anytime you're thinking too much, it's because you're spinning over some uncomfortable feeling that at an unconscious level you may not want to approach. And so if you'll just get quiet and silent and just put your attention on your body, whatever comes up, whatever discomfort is there, you just want to notice that and be curious about that. Take some time to feel these things completely, doing the best that you can in this moment to have a full release of those emotions. When you have a full release, it feels like you just drank a cup of hot tea or took the first sip of a glass of red wine. It's that heat moving through your body and expanding into your field and then transmuting back into creative potential. And don't worry if you feel limited or uncapable in this regard. This is an exercise that we all, can practice and start doing countless times, and reinforcing the habit of just feeling your feelings not only helps fine-tune your ability to feel those feelings, but it's also how you're going to keep reaching for higher vibrations, because the more that you're willing to feel any feeling, to feel every feeling in the moment, the more that you have access to deeper layers of sensitivity at those subtle energy levels. And that's really where you can become a powerful creator. As Neville Goddard said, real belief and knowing are one. And once you're trained to feel your sensations, you can decide how you'd like to feel. You're no longer a slave to your emotions, but you recognize how to transmute them into creative potential that you can then decide how you want to direct. You are the operant power. That means that you are capable of transmuting these energies. That's what being a spiritual alchemist is. And when you recognize that there's only one creative power and that you have access to it, you solidify your ability to create, your ability to take those base level energies and convert them into something higher frequency. As the Bible points out, I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Put yourself as that I and recognize this truth as a co-creator of your reality. Whether you can or can't, you're right. The deciding factor in your life is always what you decide it is. The assumptions that you accept into your mind can turn your world into a prison or a palace. I am is said to be the name of God in multiple instances of the Bible. I am is the recognition of being. It is a recognition of the present moment. When conditioned, you use the power of I am to build your world. I am happy. I am sad. I am rich. I am broke. Your will is done regardless of what state of being you accept. Muhammad Ali is one of the best sports examples of somebody who embodied a feeling until they became it. You can find, countless audio and videos of Ali boldly proclaiming, I am the greatest, One of the most meaningful quotes from Muhammad Ali was, "I am the greatest. I said that even before I knew I was." The law of assumption puts this "I am" into action in your life, no matter how you use it. Think far ahead into the future to a time when you're living your bona fide best case scenarios. You're living the life that you want completely. Picture vividly what that life looks like. Tell yourself, "I am right now painting a portrait of myself," and make that portrait clearer and clearer in your imagination until you can feel it in your senses. Then walk into that picture holographically. It's a 3-dimensional image, and accept that world as your present reality. See and feel this new reality far more vividly than what you're experiencing, in your earthly physical environment, and let go of the outcome, knowing that it's done. Once you can feel it in your system, once you can find the feeling of that end carrot that you're hanging, know that it's done. You signed the contract on the new home build, and now reality, your spiritual team, whatever you want to call it, is lining it up and building it. You don't have to struggle for the things that you want. Allow them to come to you at their appointed time. Have fun with the process and appreciate it with awe and gratitude. Remember, how you show up to life is part of the feedback loop of what you end up getting. And as you go about living, in your dominant assumption, your body and mind are going to, of course, have ebbs and flows. And so your job is just to constantly feel what you're feeling in any moment and then balance it. Find the coherence. Convert those base level energies into higher frequency creative potential. Your brain is probably going to tell you, "This is silly. You're fooling yourself. Just hustle harder." Cortisol is going to pump through your body, creating a stress response anytime this isn't going to plan. And when that fear and anxiety begins to set in, your job is to sit with it. Don't make a decision from that place. Balance the energies. Be a spiritual alchemist and convert that base level energy into creative potential, and then make a choice. You want to practice coming back to the present moment. Recognize that these sensations aren't who you are. You are the being that experiences them. You are the tube that this energy flows through, but you are not your feelings. And if you can experience your fear and doubt in your brain and body, you can also experience the abundance of your dream life in your brain and body. And it gets easier and easier as you do this work. The goal is to recognize that as creators, we innately have this power. From time to time, ask yourself the question, "How do I feel?" And just tune in, be curious about the physical sensations in your body, and then take inventory of how you feel. If the feeling is anything short of the end result you're striving for, get still, breathe. Bring your body into that coherence, adopt the feeling of your wish fulfilled, and most importantly, find a way to believe it 100%. You have to be able to feel it. If you can't feel it, something is in the way, and that means that you need to get still and feel whatever discomfort is in there. That's when you have to become the spiritual alchemist. As you go about the work required to materialize your dreams in this way, always start with the law of assumption. The more you consciously assume your wish is fulfilled, the more you train your subconscious to know that, to live in that space. Then that 90% of your mind underneath the ocean, underneath the water's edge of the iceberg, becomes your greatest ally as you gain more and more access to the power under the surface. Eventually, this work just becomes muscle memory, and it is your natural state. And those unconscious impulses become conscious, and that's where you can really begin to wield and utilize your power. Every act that you carry out in your life is going to spring from your assumptions, and your life reality is going to have no choice but to harden your assumptions into fact. But if you can't assume something and feel the joy of it, you're not there yet. That means that there's some discomfort that you need to feel through first. And as you use this process, comment below. What's working? What still doesn't fully make sense? Are you getting this? Like, when you try this, does it make sense? And do you actually feel the sensations in your body? feel free to leave a comment so that we can work it out and help you really utilize this technique and become a spiritual alchemist. Remember to like and subscribe, turn on notifications so that we can tune the algorithm to get this process out to as many people as possible. I share tons of content on Twitter and X each day and host a weekly Q&A spaces there where you can ask any questions about any of the stuff that we're talking about in this video, whether it be spiritual alchemy, law of attraction, reality transurfing, or the teachings of Neville Goddard. The intention of this channel is to create a welcoming space for us all to become powerful creators living our best lives. So I'm looking forward to creating that with you more. In order to do that, let's make sure that we have open dialogue in the comments and that you're following on Twitter. I'm John Ray with Musing Wizard. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.